Welcome back to Love is Kimes with viewer discretion, entertainment podcast co-hosted by myself and David Dennis Jr., but it's also Love is Kimes during
for the day ones.
Charlie will be joining us in the second half of this podcast to recap the latest episode of The Traitors. But first, we're going to talk about episodes 1 through 6 of Love is Blind, Ohio. David, have you spent a lot of time in Ohio?
Not a ton of time in Ohio, passed in here or there, but we're learning a lot about Ohio, which is,
I already know a lot about Ohio. I think I texted you at some point. I was like, every single guy in this season is like a Browns or Bengals fan that has chirped at me. Not all negative too. Like I have spent a lot of time in Ohio because of my job, right? Berea, Cincinnati. I do think it's an interesting place to have a season, and we're seeing that. Right, yeah, I think, you and I talked about, like it's a pretty interesting group. It's a older group, and I think that's led to it being a little bit more more settled. You know,
less influencery,
less influencey. Yeah. There's only like one or two people who I'm like, you're in it to influence.
Yeah.
I early in the season, I texted you like, everybody seems really likable and set and normal, and there's no drama. And I should have known, David.
I knew as soon as you texted that, I was like, oh, we're in for a good season. Let's go. We got some.
Turn was coming.
Age like a raisin in the sun, because it happened.
Okay, so as always, we go couple by couple, and there's a lot of couples. So many couples that one of them couldn't even go to Mexico.
I still don't understand. Anyway, okay, yes, we'll get. I'm sure.
Well, I understand why they chose them. We'll talk about that, but I don't understand why they couldn't just.
I don't understand. So we were both confused. The 6 couples went to Cabo. 6 of the couples, and then
Vic and Kristen.
They went to Malibu, and I had no idea why. And it turns out they only had space for 6 couples in the entire of Cabo, and then it still doesn't totally make sense, but I guess it's fine.
Sorry, I was just making sure I got all my names in my notes, and there's also just so many guys who look. Christine, probably not Kristen. That's what I was like. Vic and Christine. I wrote down her name wrong. Let's just start with them because there's not that much to talk about. But
which is why I think they were in Malibu, because I think there was that is why I think they went to cut them.
Zero drama, no interactions with other people. Neither of them had multiple love interests. And like Alex and Ashley, they didn't have others, but I think production correctly, it turns out, knew that Alex would be a wild card to throw into the group. And like Vic and Christine, like they're kind of like they're the, you know what, I'm not gonna say what I sent you, but they are the Pantheon potential couple of the season. Yes. Yeah. What is it they say on Bridgerton, the diamond of the season?
Yeah.
And look, we've been wrong in the past. I'll grant you that. So I don't want to like.
It's okay.
No. I thought Joey and Monica. You remember?
Oh, that's right.
These 2 kids are gonna make it. Okay. So Vic and Christine, I this was immediately like, oh, okay, locked and loaded. Send directly to the altar. Do not pass go. The one thing that did confuse me is why Vic is on Love is Blind.
I have no clue why suddenly you got all these regular folks, and then all of a sudden you have Ibram X. Kendi is now on Love is Blind.
So Vic is a professor, and he's like a legitimate, like, accomplished.
I went to his Instagram, like we got this, like half the people I know follow him. Because
here's how Vic is. That's hilarious. Vic is the real deal. I dip into the Love is Blind Reddit, and we'll reference that later when we talk about some more serious stuff. There was a Reddit that was like, oh my God, this guy's my professor, like at, was it Ohio State, or I think it's Ohio State. And they're like, does anyone else know him? And David, I should say, the entire thread is people just being like, he's the most gentle, kind man I've ever worked with. Or like students being like, we all wondered if he was married because he was such a catch. Like every single comment on this Reddit thread is positive about this guy, which I don't think I've ever seen about anyone on a reality TV show ever.
When they went to Malibu, I thought that he was going to have this like grand thing about like exploitation of different, like I thought he had some scholarly reason. So he was like, we're not gonna do like the tourism industry, which exploits the locals. We're going to Malibu. I thought that was the reason. I was so locked in on this dude having some thesis about it that was gonna go on Instagram today, but they just didn't have space for him.
And they seem lovely.
They do.
Seem like,
they do. Yeah.
They like. I was looking back at my notes, and I was like, "Oh, because we get so much of them in episode 1, and then they're just gone."
Yeah.
And one thing I did find interesting is in all of the other episodes, you see them, which suggests they didn't actually get engaged like immediately and leave.
Right.
This love line where timeline can be kind of hard to. They took their time, but there's a lot of fun things. Like, it's funny because she was like talking about she's excited for coffee tequila in Mexico. Sorry, honey, you're going to Malibu. But like they talk about how they both got misdemeanors for marijuana. Like, they're both very Christian. And again, there's always this is what I texted you. Sorry, there's always a Christian couple that locks in.
Yeah. Early on.
And sometimes you get like a Kenny the principal in the phone, and that was never. But sometimes it works. There's a lot of times.
I feel like Vic, though, he ain't just a Christian; he's a theologian. There's like he's.
It's true. They share a lot of stuff about their past. Like, her dad wasn't. He like gave her a pill bottle to hide, and and Vic's so great in that moment too. When he says like it's okay if you haven't forgiven him, I just love that. I don't know. Yeah. He talks about how he saw his stepfather abuse his mom. He reads her a note that's like freaking beautiful to her. This was, again, going to be a no drama, send them to the finale couple when We Found Love starts playing like 10 minutes into there.
Yeah.
And then you get also they do this on Love is Blind sometimes, right? Like, where before they propose, they show you a montage of all the stuff you didn't see. One thing they showed in the montage, which I was kind of surprised they didn't show this conversation, both of them saying they've dated all races before.
Yeah. So. Christine follows Lisa Ray on Instagram, so.
She reads a prayer to him. She it's I don't. There's just not logic. They just seem really good. I mean, Brett and Tiffany, Lauren and Cameron.
Which like when you get to the only drama in the preview is you want to have a mixed race kid like that. When you get to that, I'm just like that's no actual drama.
You don't even see a reaction to that. It's just a question. Like, I'm sure somebody was like, "We would love that in our family." Right. Like, they're just nothing. The classic Brett wedding freak out over his pants not being the right size or something. So really quickly they meet up, and it's they do look great together. They're like both really tall, and I mean, they're just both like, we're the luckiest people in the world. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
If there was a couple I wanted shielded from everybody else in Cabo, it's them. I'm so happy they're in like a little bubble of their own thing, which I think will help sustain them a little bit more. Like, they're not in that drama.
That's a really good point. Sometimes I do like it when, like, I remember Brett and Tiffany season. I can't remember who was so messy, but I enjoyed watching them react to it.
Oh yeah.
Like Brett being like, I don't want to talk to you guys. Or like, this is, I don't like, sometimes it is nice to have like a really normal couple around as like a barometer of the craziness of the others and like disgust, but good for them. We're going to see more of them. I haven't seen if people are complaining about the fact that they're not showing that much. We will obviously get a lot more of them in the coming weeks, but
I think Devonta could have used Vic in his ear to talk him through some things, but that's neither here nor there. We'll get to that.
I think Devonta's a lost cause. I don't think Vic's fixing what's going on there. We'll get to that one later. So before we move on, let's do a couple that didn't, or a triangle that didn't make it to Mexico or Malibu. Keya, Tyler, and Kevan. Poor Kevan. I know people are going to hear that and they're going to be like, what? Why are you sympathetic to him? It was his indecision. I just want to say, I understand that. Kevan got what this is not. Kevan fumbled here big time.
Yes.
But when I say poor Kevan, my read on it was this is the most normal guy on the entire show.
Yeah.
And he's clearly never had the attention of women. And it never, there's been guys who juggle two women or push it to the end, and women too, where you're like, you like the attention or you're crappy or you're saying things. I just think he was just in over his head. And that was my impression the entire time with him.
Had no clue how to handle the situation, which, I mean, it's a reality. It's a rare situation. It is a very rare situation where you're juggling two women who share an apartment together or share like a pod or
and
area
like
together,
friends.
and they're friends sort of, and you have split-second decisions. One walks into a room, she walks out, then the next one walks into the room. He just was not built for this, and it's okay. Alex would have done fine. He would have had no problem manipulating these women and get what he wanted to. Kevan he was in a blender from pretty much from day one. He was in the blender.
Just the most normal dude. And I genuinely believe he was like, he's not a bad, like, I was just looking at back my notes, like, he's like very non-toxic. Like like when Tyler asked him if he would be accepting of a kid if they came out to him, he said, of course, like he's like, maybe you have preconceived notions, but I would love the kid for who he is. And she was happy to hear that, but we have seen other answers to that question. Yeah. He asks them all questions about themselves. He's not like he's not a bad guy. He's just, like you said, he's in over his head. I do want to ask you this before we get to before things got really intense with Keya and Tyler and started going back and forth. Do you feel like he had a preference and he got kind of swayed off of that, like from the beginning, or do you think it was genuinely 50-50 for him?
I think it was genuinely 50-50 until Tyler kind of gave him the ultimatum thing. I think he was ready. I think he was leaning, and then he got the ultimatum and he just didn't know how to handle that situation, which I think in general, like, I'm sure people are going to kill him for this. I think in general, as we've learned, we just got to give people grace for how they are on the pods. People, I think,
unless it's like really,
unless it's terrible,
was awful. Yeah. Totally agree.
Most people in this situation, no matter what your morals are, no matter how direct you are, you're going to fumble and stumble and bumble a little bit because you're making a lifetime decision. You're hurting people's feelings. You're doing these things. I think a lot of people in this situation are going to do more like what he did than kind of what you think in your head you would do. And I think like, so too. We kind of rush to judge folks for doing this. Now, we've had enough seasons of Love is Blind to know that it's very rare when somebody walks in and says, this is what it is. This is what it is. And they're like straight and narrow the whole time.
It's okay to be indecisive on this show morally. Yeah. But on the flip side, it's also a giant risk.
Yes.
And it ends up being what kills him. Because if he had made a decision on either of these women early on, I think he would have been in the clear. And we'll get to Keya, because I do want to ask you something about that. But he just dragged it. This was one of those storylines where I wish I knew a little bit more of the timeline, because I want to know, like, at what point did Tyler start issuing ultimatums? Mm-hmm. Because to me, if it was very early, that would make me look at her differently.
Right. Yeah.
From if I found out, no, this was like at the end, he was really dragging this thing out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other side of this, David, is like, I don't want to judge her. Like,
oh yeah, right.
Because, there's something she did that I thought were a little bit like, I was like, all right, like, you're really pushing him. I get it. But I also think if this guy has been telling you you're his number one, he did tell her that.
Yeah.
And then he appeared indecisive. It would be really frustrating. You're in this room all day with a woman and you think that it's over, and this guy suddenly keeps telling you, like, I can see why she got upset. But again, it would be helpful to know at what point she started to get frustrated with him.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it just feels like as soon as she was presented with there's another option, she was like, I'm out of here. I don't want to do, like, I'm done. Yeah. And again, like, we're sort of sometimes applying real world dating, reactions to this very unique situation, which I understand. Like, it felt, when you watch it, you feel like she, was either manipulating him or trying to force him or whatever. But also it's possible that she just was legitimately like, I don't want to get my heart broken on this show.
Okay, so setting aside the moral aspect of this, or like the where's she wrong or whatever, I did have a sports analogy that I wanted, which is less about Kevan and more about Tyler and Keya. Mm-hmm. From the point where he told her Tyler was the number one until the end, she basically approached it exactly the way you shouldn't when you have a lead in a game, which was she got like super aggressive. And Keya, on the other hand, played exactly like you're supposed to play when you're down 2 scores. Which is don't panic, don't try to throw it on every down, just keep running the ball. Play action off of that at some point.
Right.
Stick to your strengths. And she, I thought, played it from just a pure strategic, like, let me stay in this. Like when he went with her and he told her, I'm leaning Tyler, she was like, that's cool. We got a lot of ball game left.
Which also made her, I think, more appealing. You know, like she was 100% more appealing. Actually, the sports analogy I was like, so Tyler, it was like when you have, it's like the Super Bowl, right? You got Drake May, you got to go in against a good defense, and you're just kind of like, just throw the ball down the, like, you know what I'm saying? Just like don't keep throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Like it's okay. Like you may throw a couple picks, but just go out there and like be yourself. Do your thing, and like it's okay. Chuck the ball 40 yards just one time, and what's the worst that's going to happen? It was like too ultra conservative to the point where you're not putting up any points. So she was like too ready to like quit or like concede the whole thing. When if she if you just make sure that you are yourself and you stay the course the whole time and play to your strengths, you could still be appealing to. Like it was really him, I think, looking at somebody he was becoming more attracted to versus somebody who he felt obligated to. And he could have been just growing attraction with both of them if Tyler had just played her game the way that she
lost her chill too quickly, and she started playing the game on someone else's terms and didn't do her and started making demands on him. And again, I want to be clear. I think if we find out that it had been multiple days, I get it. I get why she was frustrated. I'm just saying it's why she blew it, so to speak. There was an interesting moment where when she, the first time she almost quits, we hear a producer asking her. So because she talks to him, and when he reveals that he actually didn't end things with Keya, basically, she gets mad. Okay, so the way it works is she says she wants a man. Tyler wants a man, chooses her. Kevan says, he basically says he's torn. Tyler says the person you're selecting is phenomenal. And by the way, to the credit of both these women, they were cool to each other the whole time.
Right.
And he goes, I'm not selecting anyone. So she's like going to quit, which is true. And the producer's like, well, did he say his other connection was stronger? She was like, no. And they're like, well, haven't you left in the past? And she was like, yes. And then she walks back in. Were you surprised to see the producer intervention there?
Yeah, I was surprised to see the producer intervention, which you wonder how often that's happened before, where they just kind of present questions. Because I think when I text you, when she left, I was like, she's coming back. 100% she's coming back. She's spinning the block. I don't think she's done. Now, I was unsure if this was a ploy by her or a manipulative thing, which, as we know, it wasn't. She was just on pure emotion. And I think at this point, it was actually good for the producer to kind of ask her these questions. It really just to get some clarity and I don't know if they were trying to convince her or not, but I think it was good for her to I think it was worth it for her to come back.
Keya fights back. She gives him the watch. He says he wants to be the LeBron of fathers. He worked for the Cavs, we later learn, which makes that analogy very funny. He says he wants to let Keya win, but then he wants to let everybody win. The dude's just not saying anything. I mean, at some point he just stopped saying coherent sentences. At some point he just his brain just melted down, and they were talking to him, and he was just kind of like, yeah, it's just a thing of sometimes when you feel the feels and the luck. He shut down. He couldn't do it. Keya comes back. He gives her a little basketball. Keya walks back with it. Tyler freaks out again.
Yeah.
Tyler goes in with him. This is where it ends. And he says, you're my girl. She feels great. She thinks she's being chosen. But then he acknowledges, she asks him if he had feelings of love for Keya, and he basically says yes without saying yeah. He acknowledges that. And then she goes, I feel dumb. My jaw is on the floor. And she leaves. He shows up for a date and she's gone. Yeah. So question for you. I'm not surprised Tyler left.
Right. No.
She's been trying to leave. So first of all, I'll say I actually think he wanted Kyler the whole time, and Keya just kept convincing him. I think he was. I actually think he kept trying to break out with Keya and pick Tyler, but he was too passive to pull it off.
Pick Keya and dump Tyler, right?
No. I thought he wanted to the reverse.
Oh, you thought he wanted Tyler the whole time?
Yeah. I don't know. That was my thought.
Okay, I thought he legitimately, especially when the like rubber was hitting the road and Keya was so chill. I think he was actually kind of liking Keya a little bit more.
See, I think he wanted Tyler, but then Keya was so chill, he just kept moving off of it. But ultimately, it doesn't matter, right? He didn't choose either. At the point when Tyler leaves, though, did you think him and Keya were going to make it work?
I did, and I thought that, and I kept thinking about how would this footage play, when they play it back. But and as another thing about like how we talk about these couples, these lovers, like plenty of marriages have started off like this. Like I think we look at it in real time. There's so many, just like real life marriages where you were dating two people, you picked one, that person ended up being the person you married. Like it just feels more sort of like shady and nefarious because it's on like in consecutive days. It's reality TV, but you're not dating somebody seriously. You're dating a couple people, you wean them out, and then you pick your person and you go from there. And I guess the idea that they should look at this, if he had chosen somebody, they look back on this and feel bad about it. I think, again, we just got to judge it on a different scale.
I totally agree. I think some of them really struggle with that, which is like, you didn't choose me, but like, it's like, yeah, but they didn't know you.
Right.
You think they didn't actually, they had the incredibly imperfect information to make a choice. And Kwame and Chelsea, I mentioned, Zach and Bliss, there's many couples, second chance couples, shall we call them. So Tyler says, like, hey, you aren't demanding. You opened my heart. He admits that he did ask Tyler if she wanted to make something happen. He made the decision out of pressure. You're nobody's second option. Keya says, you're awesome. And I went, oh no. The second she called him awesome, I knew
it was over.
You'll make a great husband. I was like, this is all right.
Yeah.
However, she had a whole speech.
Yeah.
I'm not falling in love with you. You aren't ready for a relationship. You aren't ready to be anyone's husband. One could pass judgment and say, you shouldn't have come here, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. And then she walks back and they play the Where the Hell is My Husband song. I think by Ray. And the women all like gas her up. And she says, I feel phenomenal. Kevan walks back and the guys hear it scream. They're like, was that a good scream? He's like, no, it was not a good scream. Okay. So she has her kind of girl power moment. So on one hand, David, I think it's completely legitimate, earned. Yeah. She was right to say no. She's probably right that he's not ready based on everything that happened. My second question is this. When do you think she knew she was going to do this? So
this is the question. Yeah, this is the question is because at some point you wonder, could she have just let him have his thing with Tyler, or was this,
or was she actually that into him?
Was she that into him? Was it about something else? I think overall, regardless of when she knew, I think it's for the best. I think everybody has ended up kind of for the best. I think she's right. I don't think he's ready for this type of thing on a reality show. I think he probably would have been a little indecisive going to the altar. I think he does have some growing up to do. I think all of them probably need a little work and they probably need a traditional relationship. They all three of them seem like the kind of people that need to like go court and spend a year with somebody and then go be together.
I think that's right. I do wonder if she dragged it out a little bit longer. Like, because if she's like, you were not ready. I'm like, okay, when did you realize that?
Yeah.
But I don't ultimately blame her that much. She's a grown man. And I think you're right. I don't think either of these three, I don't think he belonged with either of them. We looked at the preview for the rest of the season. We saw him. I couldn't see who he was talking to. He was talking to someone. So we'll get some resolution.
They're like exactly the same height and body type and all this. I
think I texted you at some point. I was like, who do you like better? And you were like, Keya, it's not close.
It was because how she handled things when it, like you said, she was just staying the course.
She was down 14, masterfully
down 14. Felt like it felt inevitable that she was going to come back.
All right. So no villains there, just a guy who was in over his head. Yeah. We do have a villain in Emma's plot line. Let's get to this one. This is one of the I would say she probably gets the most screen time of anyone this entire season thus far. Emma, who is 27 in retail merchandise. She's the youngest person on the show, and it seems that way. Like, she does seem younger. So she is actually in a bit of a triangle. There's 3 guys. Connor, who Connor Spees. Spees and Breeze. The guys all look so much alike, man. Connor and Mike, and Connor, Mike, and Chris. I was like, I am struggling here.
I sent you a screenshot of all the guys talking. I was like, no way. There's no way I'm going to be able to tell these dudes apart. I like some of these seasons. I just punt to like episode 3 before I'm like, I'll figure out who these guys are once we start weaning people out. I don't know.
And like all of them have similar jobs too, like director, manager, sales manager. Then there's Steven, who's in finance. Okay, so Emma is interesting story. Adopted. We learned she had a crazy birthmark removed because it was precancerous, so she's got a pretty serious scar on her arm. Connor sells dumpsters. That's what he does. I forgot. I wrote that down. I've seen folks on some social media talk about how she's trauma dumping, and I just want to push back on that. This is a show where they record hours and hours of footage, and they're showing us the most intense emotional moments. So we're seeing her talk about this to these guys, clearly not the bulk of their conversations. So I just don't like that when people say that about this. And it's also, you could tell, not something she really wanted to talk about. It takes her a while to get there with some of these guys. So a big key plotline with her early on is she doesn't want kids, or she's not sure if she wants kids. And there's multiple reasons for that. At one point she talks about her life would have to change. She also alludes to the adoption aspect of it. We see her bring this up with a bunch of guys, and Mike, who ultimately is of course who she ends up with, knows that he wants them. And we'll get to that, but that's definitely gonna be a thing.
Made me really uncomfortable. But anyway,
yeah, me too. Steven. So before we get to Steven, this is where we should get to Reddit. There's some pretty serious accusations against him floating around on the internet. He obviously does not continue on this show, so I don't think it's going to be something that is ever addressed, or you know what I mean. But you do, knowing that, it is a great example of how you get this information, and obviously we haven't investigated or whatever, but when you watch the show, it just inflects how you watch it, David.
It's my first note. My first note. I don't know if you can see this. It says Steven, ew. That's the first thing.
Was that before though? Because even before, I don't think I found out. I don't think I saw this stuff on the internet until.
No, this is before I saw anything on the internet. Yeah. This is before I saw anything. It was just like the dude just. Yeah. And Emma said it. He gives the ick. Like there was a lot of things that were just that felt. Yeah, he was just felt. Kind of like was it David on the one who was like, so why are you here? Are you a loser or whatever? Remember who did that a couple seasons ago?
Yes. Yeah, or the sociopathic guy who Dave was the one who did that. But remember the sociopathic guy, Matt was his name, I think, who like told the same story to multiple girls. Find them or his dad. Anyways, I get this thing. Yes, he is.
It felt very. I'm here to be famous. I'm here for all. It was absolutely disgusting. Like he might have done well on a different season. Ohio with this cast was not going to work out for him, and I could not. I was so happy that she didn't. That it didn't go anywhere with anybody.
Well, Alex and Devonta are the other 2 guys who I have real issues with. This or who I'm just like I don't like. Like I really don't like you. But Steven was the only like you're a villain like this and I was texting, I was like, ooh, this season needs a villain, right? Like where's the Raina, where's the like Shayna, where Dave, and he stinks. I mean, all of their conversations first of all, he's just like interrupts her constantly that I find just like really off-putting. But
she tells her story and he's like, oh, talk about my first kid, like it's just like
it's weird. He's a horrible, like the scene where he asks her. Let me, because I wrote it all down. Because she tells him about the birthmark and her adoption, and he's kind of fine about those things. but she's like, you can tell she's like a little bit down, and he starts asking her about her first kiss and her virginity, and she was a late bloomer, and she's so obviously uncomfortable talking about it, and he keeps pushing, and he tells her like a very weird, long, drawn out story about the Notebook. Like, she just, I don't know, it was just.
So here's my question.
Very, very off-putting.
Here's my question: Why did Steven get so much screen time?
Yeah, because he didn't end up.
He wasn't part of any story. He wasn't. I mean, maybe they just like really hated this dude and want to talk about how much he sucked. But I don't know why.
I think that's it. I think you can't have only boring, nice conversations. I think they saw that this was it was a little bit more dramatic than most of the interactions that these people have had. I guess that would be my only. I mean, because the other thing about like these accusations is they came out after, right? This came out. So I don't know. I know people are always like, well, how do they not find them? And it's like, guys, I didn't like.
Yeah, it was some. There's
no police record. It's just, but.
Shout out to Emma. To her credit, every time he did something like that, she checked him on it. She pushed back. She was like, I don't like this. Like that was. I think maybe that's answering the question of why he was on there, because it did show. Sort of
that she had some
how she reacts to things like that.
Good judgment about it. And it was in that virginity conversation. She's just like, I don't like this. You're interrupting me. You're telling, like, she stood up for herself in a way. It actually was probably one of the scenes where I liked her the most, where, she says, nobody wanted me until I was college. It's not worth painting a picture. And she basically just told him, this rubs me the wrong way. And then literally in that conversation, she's like, yeah, I'm not going to get here with you. And I was like, fist pump. Yeah. So then there were two.
I wish she could have just like said that and like pushed a button and a trap door and he just like falls through the earth, because that's kind of what I felt like would need to happen.
It's down to Connor and Mike for her. And she's leaning Connor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because every conversation with Mike, the kid thing keeps coming up. She gives him her story, and like, look, he reacts way better than Steven to all of the stuff she tells him about adoption. He's like, I would never judge you. You should be so proud of yourself. He's not interrupting her. He says, I've never told him this, but I was premature when I was born. But this is a continuation with Mike. He keeps pushing her on the kid thing. Yeah. And you talked about this. You said it made you uncomfortable. Like,
the scene was so long where it feels like he's convincing her to have kids.
The one where at the end he's like, you should get gene tested.
Yeah.
This is after Connor's out of the picture. We'll get to that. But when he's like, imagine having a little you, and which it's just odd. I know some people, that's why they have kids. It's never been something that occurred to me. She's like, I also think, okay, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
So he is responding to her explaining that her adoption is part of why, and he is someone who's trying to present a solution, which is like, you could get gene tested.
Right, yeah.
But my read on this is that her, I wouldn't say apprehension, but uncertainty is about a lot more than that. I think she's a 27-year-old person and doesn't know if that's what she wants. And I just think he is misreading that, or maybe she's not being clear enough. But he's also pushing it,
I think these are short conversations. Like, this should not be a long conversation. Do you want to have kids? No. Cool. Like, I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know how much more that conversation is worth having from a dude, or from anybody trying to convince somebody, but especially a dude trying to convince a woman why she should have kids. Like, it should just kind of, there really does not need to be a good answer. I don't want to have kids. Cool. Like, that's either you're going to decide that you could live a life without kids, or, like, you go forward with it, but there should be no more inquisition. You get a maximum of 1.5 questions. Do you want kids? No.
I know.
Let's move on.
It's completely okay for a man to want to be with a woman who wants to have kids.
Right.
Like, that's, especially like if you're entering your 30s, whatever. But to your point, like, what makes me uncomfortable is watching the push. I will say this, though. I was thinking about this, because watching it play out on screen, I was like, I don't like this. This doesn't, he is being pushy, and everybody was kind of pushy. Like, the thing I'll say though is, I mean, I'm old now, but so many people I know had these exact types of conversations with their significant others around this age.
Yeah.
And where one side was pushing or one side wasn't sure. And somebody would be like, "We'll figure it out," or like, "You should," So it's like, Dave, one of those things where in the context of the show, I'm just like, no, I don't like this, but I also know this is like a conversation that happens all the time between men and women, like in the real world.
Yeah, and but the thing is, it happens over the course of like 8,
Yeah,
12,
that's a
16
great
months.
point.
I mean,
Yes,
that's the
right.
problem.
It's not like people who just met and he's pushed
Right.
this.
Yeah. That's
totally
that's a huge part of it. I
Yeah.
like you. I don't know if I want kids. Okay, we're going to keep dating and figure this thing out and see how we get close to it. And then like he's basically saying, we're getting engaged tomorrow or whatever, and I want you to have kids,
Yes.
and I'm going to keep on trying to get. And what's sad about this?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not
I
pushing.
think he wanted her to keep the door open.
Keep the door. Yeah, he wants it. Yeah.
I think again, I want to be clear. Like the scene has made me uncomfortable. I just think he was like, if I'm going to make a lifelong commitment to someone, I want to make sure they're open to it.
Right. Yeah.
But again, watching someone push for that concession on a condensed timeline, to your point, is the issue here. It's not
exactly. Yeah. That's the problem, and I feel like unfortunately we're going to have whatever the time 8 weeks of them together where this is the topic, and it just feels like it's going to be kind of yucky to experience.
Yeah, I know. I think if like what the best case of this working out is her just being like, it's a conversation I'm willing to have over the next few years, and him being like, that's enough. Yeah. But I don't know if that's how it's going to play out.
Right.
Really quickly before we get to Mike and her meeting, Connor, they had a lot of scenes together where they seem to be like kind of more similar personalities. So but this is an important point. She wanted Connor.
Yeah.
She said, I have a gut feeling Connor's the one at the end. Connor at one point said Emma's the one, but Breezy makes me laugh. She says, so basically at a certain point, Connor chooses Brianna, and we'll talk about that. And he tells Emma immediately, and Emma takes it really well, I think. She returns and tells the girl she broke up with her number one. I don't want to go to my second date, but I owe it to myself to try. When she goes to her date with Michael, she says, me and my second ended it. She does admit that he dumped her. I think that's important.
Yeah.
But I do want to get your fair or foul call on how she portrayed it, and whether, and I more importantly, do we think this is gonna be a thing?
She lied. She straight up lied. So there's and after
are we accepting that second means my number two? Like
I would assume, not her number.
I assume so. Could there be like a loophole where she's like, no, that just means my other person?
Maybe. I'd see. It feels like she was lying. And again, we're gonna give the Kevan grace here, and like that sometimes you just get caught in these situations and you say things when you're juggling two people. But she did absolutely lie to this man. And also, I do think that part of it, when it got to that point, she was so distraught, it kind of felt like she was settling down with Mike. It feels like two people who, like, Mike's unsure about the kid thing, she's unsure about the Mike thing, and it does feel like they're like settling down a little bit, which might not bode well for them.
I don't think it's gonna be a thing. Maybe the reunion.
I don't. I'm with
you. Yeah. I know. I agree with everything you said. I just don't think Connor's so determined to just be like, I've never met that woman in my life. We'll get to Connor and Brian, but like, I just think he's not going to create. He if he was still interested in her at all, I think it could become a thing because he might reveal it like when they meet up at the meetup later on. I just don't think he is. I think it'll come up at the reunion and she'll have a story or whatever, depending on whether or not still together. I don't know, but they meet up. They like each other. He take notes, Devonta. He says she happens to be Asian. I've never dated a different race. It's amazing. It's not that hard.
She also, and this
just be normal.
I'm gonna sit on the soapbox here. She describes him as tall, dark, and handsome. And Mina, it's time for us to really interrogate that phrase and talk about what that means. Because
everybody's tall, dark, and handsome.
Everybody's tall, dark, and handsome. I don't understand where the dark comes in for all these white dudes who are in these reveals. But tall, dark, and handsome does not mean what a lot of people say it means. So that drives me crazy. But there was a lot of tall, dark, and handsome men on the show.
He looks so much like this guy that I used to work with that it's really distracting. I know nobody cares. I'm sorry. It's really distracting to me. All these guys, I feel like every guy on Love is Blind Ohio looks like a guy at your office.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Connor, I'm like, yeah, I've worked with Connor.
Yeah.
Kevan, I'm like, I've seen a Kevan. It's just like there's just a lot of normal dudes. I don't know how to put it. They're just like guys.
I've seen Devonta at Target.
They seem to like each other physically, though. I will say that.
Yes.
This wasn't one of the ones. I was like, oh, they seem like they're into each other. And there's very little to talk about them in Mexico. The only thing that caught my eye was when like the guys were going around and he talked about her being messy, and then he was like, I told them you were messy. I'm like, why would you say that? But she doesn't seem, if she's at all interested in Connor and wants to know anything about it, she's not betraying it. That I didn't get any impression. There's a lot going on with, shockingly, other people, but not her. I didn't get the feeling there was any lingering feelings there.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we should do Connor and Breezy. I keep saying Breezy now. Brianna. This one is much more Mexico centric than the other couples. So did I text you guys who Connor looks like to me? Also,
no.
He looks like if Lionel Messi was like a foot taller. just try to visualize it.
Okay.
Connor, man, he's just like the most normal dude. Like he just wants to, go crazy to Mr. Brightside at the wedding.
Yeah. Had to Google it, but it's okay.
This is our culture. He actually got the Mr. Brightside to play when he walked away from meeting her. Like, damn, blowing out the budget.
There we go.
The Brightside. I mean, they just seem like such an average Big Ten couple.
Midwestern couple, fun to hang around. Seems fine.
And he seems like in the pods, he seemed like a pretty nice guy. Like I have a lot of notes. I thought he handled the Emma, like he was cool about her with the kids. He was cool about everything she told him. He was talking about how his dad binged the show before he went on. He was like, "Oh, they go to your house?" I thought that was funny. He had a cute story about how his mom was a receptionist for years who got promoted to data analyst and how proud he was of her. I don't know. I found him to be I was like, oh, this is like a, what did I text you? Average Meantime show listener right here. I like him. And I do think him and Brianna ultimately they seemed like a better fit by the end.
He is like somebody who like would run into you like at the airport. Mina, good takes. You got some good takes.
Keep killing it. Just a nice guy. Okay. There's really not much to talk about with them in pods. They seemed to like each other right away. By the way, for some reason they both seem gigantic to me. And then she's only 5'4" and he's 5'11". I thought maybe everyone else is shorter by comparison. I don't know. She says he's a stud. He says she's gorgeous. I was like, all right, I guess so.
Okay. Whatever your boat.
Hey. Okay. Mexico. This is where things pop off with them.
Yeah.
I want you to try to help me understand what the hell is going on with her. So they have the couple meetup, and everybody. There's no drama the first meetup. Nobody even gets that drunk. Maybe she's drunk. I don't know. She's like, I'm so disappointed by we had this crazy experience. All the conversations. So first level, second level, surface level. Sorry, she had a thing with Chris, which. Again, in the pods, I barely even have notes on it. I'm like, these things, like an amicable quick breakup. It was not emotional. She's like, I really need to talk to Chris again. What is going on with this woman? Like, why is she so obsessed with the pods and having these conversations? Like, what do you think is going on?
I don't. Somebody on Reddit said she thought she was on Love Island and she can like still be open to explore because it's not like she sees Chris. It's not like Chris is just like some smoke show. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys look kind of similar. You know what I'm saying? These guys don't look this dissimilar. I don't understand what the need to explore things with him was, unless there's some stuff that, like you said, that happened off camera. But it felt like by the time they're in Mexico, I kind of forgot that was a thing that she would even be thinking about. Like, I don't know why she's pushing it so much.
Second party, she grabs Chris, and I gotta say this.
Yeah.
You know, I never pull the if it was a man.
All right, do tell. Yeah.
The way she was like, do you think Connor and I work? Really? Yeah. Are you sure about that? Did I fit the mental image of you that you had for me? Kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Kind of messed up. And we have seen men act this way on previous seasons. We'll get to Alex.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is not cool. The way you're acting is not cool. And then she sees Connor again. Or not, she sees Connor again. At the end of that party, she's once again like, I just need part 3 conversation.
Right, part 3. Why? I don't get it. I don't even get the feeling that she's super attracted to Chris. That's
what I don't understand. So in the past, when men have done this, I've been like, oh, you're into that. You feel like you picked wrong or what?
Yeah.
It doesn't even seem like she's into him. I don't understand what is motivating this woman to act this way. I'm like so confused by her behavior right now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like cold. Maybe she doesn't like Connor that much, and she's trying to sabotage it. I don't know. The previews looked.
I don't think she likes Connor.
Really spicy. So
yeah. Well, wait. So we get sound of Chris in the preview being like, maybe I chose the wrong woman, right? It was Chris, right?
Yeah, but also we get what isn't Connor kicking her out of the house at some point?
Yes, right. Like, closing the door on her. Yes. This is a good one, a good plot line. I know Connor and Emma talk, and he's like, yeah, we're both messy. She's like, yeah, we are, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with this woman, but I do think that the only thing I feel certainly is that her and Connor don't like each other that much, and it's starting to, like, you know, he does say at one point she never shut up.
Yes, that part, that did. They were like, "What do you think?" He just like she talks all the time, and the way they kind of talk to each other kind of doesn't feel, lovey. Like there's a little bit past the point of banter and things like that. It just kind of feels like they just are sniping at each other a little too much.
All right, so that brings us to Chris and Jessica. Jessica is the 30-year-old infectious disease doctors. Chris is 32 in software sales. I'm going to cut right to it here.
All right.
So, because there's really not that much. He's like really into jiu-jitsu and Iron Man. He was in a Black Hawk unit in Kuwait, which might inflect the conversation we're about to have. She's like a very accomplished woman, obviously, a doctor. She was a cheerleader, or no, that was Bri. Sorry. Her parents are divorced. They talk a little bit about how she's older than him. He seems to have no issues with it. They talk about her height. Sure. She had done pageants in musical theater. She was not cheerleader. They decide to choose each other, and everything we've seen of them suggests they are extremely into each other. Physically, no fights. He's really into her. She likes him a lot. We've got nothing. Okay. There's not a lot to talk about here. They do mention, like, she's like, oh, would your parents be disappointed? You were with this old woman about having kids.
Right.
He's like, nope, we're good. This man is saying everything right to her.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a moment when they're in Mexico where she's like, wow, it's really great to be away from the news. I follow a lot of accounts on Instagram. So I see, and I have very strong political views. I see a lot of bad things happening. He says, I like that about you. Earlier in the season, when they first meet and she mentions that she's a infectious disease doctor, he says, wow, it must have been really tough working in a hospital during COVID and hearing all the BS from the outside world. Okay. So this is what we're seeing.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to hear this. This is not a spoiler at all, but when she said, I follow a lot of these accounts on Instagram, I'm looking. Jessica, I was just like, let me look at their follows. Jessica follows, it's not even like the two of them, it's not even like the like generic, like she follows Barack Obama. She follows like Stacey Abrams, Elizabeth Warren. Like, this woman is a mega lip.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, let me check in on Chris. Thinking, well, he said the stuff about COVID. Chris follows the entire Trump family.
Yeah.
David, this feels like a ticking time bomb here.
As we say this, he doesn't specify what mess that you heard from the outside world during COVID. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like I wonder, he doesn't specify like, hey, Buzz been hard working in hospitals during that fake disease or whatever. I don't know. Like, it does.
I like that. She's like, I have strong political views. He's like, I like that about you. I just.
Yeah. It does feel, but also on? It feels like something they probably talked about in the pod. They had to have talked about it in the pods, right? Like they had to have had the conversation.
Either they've had the conversation and she's like, nope, that's cool. I'm cool with it. Which, there are people in this world, there are couples, you and I have had this conversation in this show before, who do not have the same beliefs. It is very rare, I have found, for couples to have very strong beliefs.
And in 2020, whatever, the 24, 25, whatever this was.
Pretty recent.
Yeah.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Especially if she's like, this is a big part of my identity. This isn't like that. I think that's why I'm making a big thing about this. This is not like.
And they included it. And for them to include it in these early episodes when nobody else has any political, there was really no other political talk for the most part. For them to include it indicates that this is probably going to come up at some point throughout the season.
Either she's totally cool with it and they like that, they legitimately like that, or she has no freaking clue.
Right. Yeah.
Which at this point is possible, but that would mean that. Oh,
well, he would have been a lot because you would have to think she would tell him. She'd be telling him exactly what.
Or maybe, and when was this film? Like, maybe he's just completely changed since then. That's the third possibility.
Maybe,
here.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope I haven't like I am just sitting here like watching this, waiting for this bomb to go off.
Yeah.
And I know random commenters will be like, in the real world, people are okay with it. I'm like, pretty rare, y'all.
What's the guy from?
I'm not even saying this is not even like a political point of view for me. This is purely a relationship take.
Yeah, you don't see it anymore. You really do not see it as much anymore. Yeah, especially at our age group. I think previously, like older age groups, I think it was the case. Our age group is not really like that.
Very curious to see what happens here. Okay, we're taking too long. Sorry. Not a lot talking about Jordan Amber. Jordan is the Mike Golick coded account executive. Mike Golick approves this message. We talked about it. Amber is the 33-year-old nurse who has a 7-year-old daughter. It is really interesting. Sorry, Jordan's he's a bigger dude, but he says he's misjudged. He loves art and reading and cooking. Pretty much every scene he's eating.
Right.
How's it a sandwich or whatever? She's a self-described country bumpkin. They're sweet together in the pods. Like, it's very like, hey, I don't have a lot of money, neither do I. It's very he talks about he was bullied or she was bullied. He said he had a teacher call him stupid. And I did get a little worried when she was like, as long as you're like not a nasty 6-year-old man who's fat. I was like, I hope she's not like judgmental of him physically. He makes her cookies. I do want to ask you before we get to their meetup, and there's really not a lot that happens in Mexico. She says, we're not going to be the perfect country club couple, and that's okay. And I did feel legitimately these people connected. I liked them together. I liked how he talked to her. I liked the way he talked about her. I do want to ask you about the kid thing, because we're coming off of the Jordan season, season, where the kid thing was like such a big deal, and it was a deal breaker, even though it, whatever. This is not, and we'll see what happens. It's very been downplayed in this plotline relatively. Yeah. That's how I felt watching it. Did you feel the same way?
I feel the same way, because I don't know if it's like gendered in the way that it was like so unique for a guy to be a single, to call himself a single dad or whatever, or a mom. You just kind of like, we just accept it for what it is. But it just seems like it's not a big part of the conversation. Doesn't seem like it's something we're going to talk about a lot come the season. Like, it didn't seem to be a problem for anybody going forward. So maybe it's just something that's in the periphery.
How I felt about Jordan, where I felt like the kid thing, I wouldn't say it was an excuse per se, but I felt like it was like a catch-all for a lot.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like a woman who has already figured out how she's going to integrate someone into her life. Maybe that would be the difference.
Right. Yeah.
Because he doesn't strike me as more ready than like Sparkle Mag or anything. He seems pretty like, I think he was relieved that like the dad's still in the life. So he was like, oh, he's like, it's a privilege for me. And like, again,
and they don't have the like disparate lifestyle stuff that the kid was as Jordan and Meg.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it. Like, I think that they have a lot of similarities in what they do and how they live. And I think that ended up being the bigger difference between Jordan and Meg. Kill me. When they met, the meetup, did you laugh as hard as I did? Hold on. Sorry for the visual audience. When they do the silhouette.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. She had the pose. She did.
Like one of those gas stations or the things people hang on.
Yeah, she did have. I don't know what they told her. I don't know what they explained to her the process was.
She's a great body, so I get it.
She is. She's just a goofy person, which like from top to bottom, which it's adorable that she's that goofy. But yes, her pose was goofy.
It's great. I'll be honest. I was a little bit apprehensive of whether or not she would be attracted to him or whether she would be judgmental, but she did not seem that way at all. There's a sweet moment too I wanted to highlight with her about kind of being a young single mom. She was just talking about like what a cool experience with her it was for her to go on a honeymoon, because she said, I had a child when I was unwed and everyone else's lives moved on, and I thought that was cool. Seems like, I mean, everybody has sex immediately. She says most men will put their into a chicken sandwich, which I enjoyed. No drama with them. I guess my only question is, I think the kid thing could be, they show a little bit of a preview, but it didn't look that dramatic to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they're fine.
All right, we got two more couples. So many damn couples.
Yes.
Brittany and Devonta. This is a later couple. There's two later couples. Yeah. Kind of. This is one of them. Devonta is a sales manager / photographer. She is a labor and delivery nurse. She bought a wedding dress because it was on sale. She is in it to win it. In the pods, everything seems lovely. He wants to be a great dad. She says he gives her the tingly winglies, which I shuddered, but that was the thing that was said. She says they talk a little bit about appearances, which ends up being a pretty big thing here. And she says, well, I can guess your name is Devonta. In my mind, she's visualizing Devonta Smith from the Philadelphia Eagles. They meet up. This was, I think, the most awkward physical meetup of the group. This is the only one where I was like, ooh.
It was awkward, and it was a left turn, and I should have the Kwame hairline theory should have carried me through this one, and I ignored the signs. The name Devonta probably might have thrown me off, and their chemistry earlier threw me off. The hair should have told me the story, because he looked at her and was disgusted to his core that there was not a white woman across that aisle from him, and everything went downhill from there. And she wanted to, she's not attracted to him at all. But Devonta cannot get over the fact that he has a woman of color.
Which he says right away.
Yes.
She says, I was expecting someone a little bigger. He's not somebody I would go for at a bar, but it doesn't matter. We're all going to get fat one day. He says he's never dated a woman of color. And in Mexico, they refer back to this. She's Black and Colombian, I think she says. They're the only couple who doesn't have sex. She says to the camera she feels lonely. He doesn't initiate contact. He keeps saying he gets hot. When they're playing Never Have I Ever at the second party, and she offers to give him a hickey, and he says, no, thank you. And she walks away. She says, look, we can have sex if it'll bring us closer, which
felt so sad.
Really depressing.
Yeah.
In the room, she confronts him and says she needs more. And he's like, well, I got a lot of stuff going on. You're always trying to talk to me and stuff. Okay. So the internet's killing this guy.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly.
Yes.
I think people are extra offended because of, and this is what's unfair about it, I would say, what would commonly be perceived as a disparity in looks between them.
Yes.
But that detracts from what is, it's not, I mean, I guess it is because of the disparity, the fact that it's a racial preference is magnified. Like, you know what I mean? It's
yeah. How dare you? Yes. Yeah.
There's a lot going on here, David. I mean, just walk me through, like, it's just hard.
We've seen this before. We've seen people go, like, we've seen black dudes, let's be frank, go on Love is Blind for the sole purpose, or for a big part of it, is because they feel like that's the only way that they can get a white wife. Like, straight up. Like, they've hinted at these things. They've said things similar. They want to be judged by not their looks when they go date white ladies. This dude thought, and he basically felt like he was fooled by her voice that he was getting a white lady. She comes across and he wants nothing to do with her, which I think a larger picture, we've been enough of these seasons so far, where if it's not going well on the honeymoon, just call it, just punt on it. It's like, if there's like this, we're not being affectionate with me on the honeymoon, there's nothing more to talk about. I mean, there are other reasons things can go wrong, but how many times do we see these couples try to work it out initially, and it just really boils down to, this person just is not attracted to me at all. And he can come up with all the excuses he wants. He just does not want her. And the only really reason he's given is because he's never dated a person of POC in his life, and it has no interest in it.
It's hard. Okay. There's nothing he could do to make me not judge him for any of this, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
But to your point, he could have handled it directly and just been like, I'm not feeling this early on. And kind of gaslights her, actually. I know it's overused. To the point, and on her end, I think what's going on is, like, I don't think she's even into him, but I think she's just so desperate to make it work. And it's just hard to watch.
The thing with her saying, I will have sex, that was so, that was grim.
Another thing that plays out all the time in the real world, though, and you're just
it sucks so bad to see. Because nobody should have to go through this, but also she's smoking hot. Like,
okay, so that brings me to my next point, which is, even though it was so messed up when Alex was like, "Hey, pretty lady,"
yes,
part of me loved it for her, because I was like, please.
Yeah.
Remember, like, take this moment. The hottest guy here is coming on to you. He sucks, to be clear.
Yes.
But like, please take this moment. You are being, like, rejected by this not conventionally, like, this is the world telling you have options.
Yes. And like, you're on a reality show. People are going to see you as soon as you get home. As soon as this airs, it's over. It's up. It's up. Just like Virginia and Minnesota. And like some of these, go get a Cavalier. Just go there. I don't know what Evan Mobley's doing right now, but go holla at him.
She is stunning, and it is. I actually don't know if I've ever seen anything like I don't know if I've ever seen a man reject a woman out of his league purely for racial reasons on reality television.
Yeah, never.
That's what's happening here. Yeah. It is hard to watch. Okay, let's get to Alex. Alex is on a different show. Alex and Ashley are in Love Island. What are they doing here?
Alex this is not the right. It's Temptation Island. He's on Temptation Island 100% because he's like, once we get out the pods, we go to Mexico, I get to pick which any one of these women I want for the next little bit of time.
You may have missed this in the edit. It was very subtle. So you probably didn't hear this brought up, but Alex plays soccer.
Oh, did not hear that. Did not know that.
He was supposed to be drafted to top 5, maybe 10. All right, drafted to top 10, but he fell to 23. But he could have been drafted in the top 10. I learned so much about the MLS draft process from the show.
Yes.
All right, we'll be quick here. I don't like this couple, and I don't enjoy watching them. And I was actually relieved when he does his heel turn, because I was like, at least this is interesting now. I'm sorry if that's messed up, but I don't think they should be together, and I don't like them. So I don't like him. So they're also that couple who just never shuts the hell up about the fact they're having sex. Yeah. Congratulations, you've had sex. He says sex is a celebration of being close. She says she likes dirty talk. He also is just like the dude, sorry, I know I'm being a hater, who just like constantly quotes the same movies that everybody else quotes and books and stuff.
He reads stoicism, not just about stoicism. He reads stoicism or whatever he says.
Yeah. I could have, you don't even have to, this weird dude, no, and I don't have to say a word. And I could have, the second he was like, you know what, I was like, the alchemist. Like, I know he's going to be the alchemist. I'm not, I mean, don't get mad at me.
And also, I knew we were going, and there's something about the dudes who say, you're dangerous. You're so, like, you're a cheater. Those guys, like, those dudes, guys that do like, you're dangerous. Them dudes be cheating.
The way he flirts with her when at their meetup, the stop throwing eyes, you keep throwing like it's like the weird, like the way he talks, just so icky to me, and like
it's giving. It's like the guy who, when you go to, there's always one dude you go to Hooters who thinks that the waitress is really into him. Like that is him. That is 100% him.
I hope Brian or Charlie have investigated his soccer career. I didn't. I know.
I hope he sucks. I hope he was not actually that good.
But you know, he met Tim Howard and he was kind of weird.
He was kind of weird, Tim Howard. You know, I met him, right? Oh God.
Also, like, I just think he thinks he's so smart, and when she's like, "Smut's a word; it's not acronym," that cracked me up. It just the constant like sexy talk.
Yeah.
Her too. She was like, "Oh, does it make it hard for you?" And he's like, "Good choice of words." You don't have to tell her she's making a joke, bro. She just made a joke. She says, "Are you finished?" Only after you. The whole thing was like, "Oh, I get the PBGs." Okay, so and then the next morning, it's like the positions and the sex and the this and the that, all of which makes it so wild.
Yeah.
When he has this, there have been very few moments this season where I've been like, like
scandalized.
I would argue the only moment thus far is when he pulls Brittany.
Yeah.
And is like, says to camera, this is the type of girl I usually date, tan skin, dark features, fit body. To me, it was great because it came out of left field because
also she's black. No tan skin. She's black. It's okay.
I don't think he knows.
She's a person of color, Alex.
Oh, you know, Alex, I think maybe Alex. I mean, it is fascinating to me because his girl literally looks like Barbie. She looks like an influencer. Yeah. She's the one I was talking about. And he's like, nah, it doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
After like telling her how much he wants to sex all the time, how dangerous she is. And he straight up, he's like, who's your type? What's your type? Like, he's just shameless about it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really give it back to him, Brittany.
Yeah.
But later we see him completely denying he was flirting to Ashley.
There was no reason for him. There was no reason for him to pull Brittany. Like, they had no pod, unless they dated in the pod briefly and we don't know about it. There was no pod interaction. There was no reason for her to pull her, for him to pull her aside for any, like, he didn't even want to do like, we're having drinks and we're just kind of wandered over. He pulls her and basically says, your guy's ugly. I don't really like my person. Let's the two hottest people here start having sex. That's basically what he says immediately.
This is literally how people act on Love Island.
Right. Yes.
I want to be clear. He sucks. I'm not a fan of his. He's, as that should be obvious. I am a fan of this as a thing that happened. It's so insane.
You know what? The only thing that they need to top this off, jet skis. We need some jet skis for her. Let's make this.
She does. I don't think Brittany's into him.
No, she's not at all. Not at all. Even though she was kind of like, he's tall, he's fit, whatever. I don't think she's
good looking. Yeah. I just love that it happened, and it'll be interesting to see if it comes up because we see him and Ashley. They have scenes down the road.
Yeah.
But Brittany should tell her.
Yeah.
It's pretty messed up. So. All right, another thing that has yet to play out. Time for Will They Say I Do?
Okay. I don't have paper in the room, but we can do a little do.
Let's go with some of the easier ones.
Okay.
Brittany and Devonta.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, I'm hoping that there's a guy that she can meet at the meetup or something, because she deserves better.
Alex and Ashley. I'm gonna go no.
No, we're going no for them. Yeah, no for them. They might not make it. As soon as he finds the next hot thing spoken, they're done.
Connor and Brianna.
No, he kicks her out the house in the previews.
Emma and Mike.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, for me.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Jordan and Amber. I'm gonna go yes here. This Jordan is the single mom and
yeah. Jordan and Amber. Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Vic and Christine.
Very big yes.
Yes. And then I think our last one is Chris and Jessica.
Okay, given what has been presented to us on the show, so far I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, and if the politics ever come up, then we can move to no.
It's got to come up
right now.
Okay, so yes. I know you and I theorized. Does she know? I think she doesn't know.
Yeah,
I really
think she doesn't know. Yeah.
I guess the question is how long.
Yeah, maybe this guy can hold it over for like 8 weeks. just keep it quiet for 8 weeks. Okay, wait. Before we do this, can I present a possible theory? As I'm thinking about our yeses and nos, I'm thinking about a possible theory. Is it possible that Vic and Christine were kept on the show because Love Is Blind did not want to have 2 years of all nos?
Ooh, like the edit wasn't removed. Right, because couples, but they put them on a vacation.
But couples have gone on all right. I think couples have made it all the way through. Yeah,
that's not a bad theory.
Is it possible they kept them on? They don't want 2 years of
bad theory.
All no.
Yeah, I don't hate that. We did only have one other.
Yeah, we have Amber and Jordan as the only other one, and we have not seen. Anything could happen. I'm
right. So they. Yeah, no, you're right. The producers might have been looking at Vic Christine like, you're too boring for the show, no drama. But then by the end, they're like, no, we can't go 0 for 6 here. We got to throw in
can't go two straight seasons.
It's a great theory. It's a great theory. We'll revisit that. Obviously,
put a pin in it.
Well, regardless of whether or not Vic and Christine were kept to save the record of the show, they are quite clearly 1 and 2 in the power rankings.
Yes. I want to read Vic's book. I know he's written a book. He's had to have written a book. I'm like, I want to go read your treatise on prison abolition or whatever you wrote.
I'm going to put Jordan and Amber next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think other than Vic, Jordan's the only man so far who's kind of getting through this unscathed. He so far has gotten very good at it. He seems lovely. I like her.
Mm.
I think seems like a fun woman. I'm gonna put. This might be surprising because of her situation. But I'm gonna put Brittany next because the entire internet is like very on her side and confused and commenting on the looks. So, yeah.
I like Brittany. I am a big fan of Brittany for obvious and great.
I'm gonna put Keya next because I think she got the exit that she wanted, came out of it clean, handled herself really well as we discussed, played a brilliant game. I'm going to throw Emma and Mike in next because while we are apprehensive about the kid thing, they've managed to stay out of the fray so far in Mexico. I'll put Ashley here.
Mm-hmm.
I think other people like her better than me, but I'm just not enjoying her scenes with him at all. You know what? I'm going to put Kevan and then Tyler because while Kevan may have fumbled in a serious way, he got out before he could do any further damage.
They had the best possible outcome for all of them.
So many people. All right. I'm gonna put Connor next. He could honestly go a little bit higher. I think he's just kind of bumbling along. But the way I view it, I'm not even ranking Steven, but he would clearly be at the bottom if he was. The way I view it, there's a clear bottom 3, and the only question is what order to put The 3 in, I'll go Bri. Oh, hold on. 13. God, this is so long. I'm gonna go Breezy, Alex, Devonta.
Did we? Yes, I'm with you. This is clear.
Off?
Did we do Jessica and Chris?
Oh my God, there's so many people on this season. Okay, Jessica, I'll put after Brittany.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris is tough.
Chris is a tough one. We don't know what if he's.
I mean, based on what we're seeing on the show, I'll put him here.
Yeah.
Kind of not that far, but the thing with Chris is just a question of honesty.
Yeah.
That's what's just so unclear to me is like, what and there is a good chance that he is being honest, and you and I will be totally wrong, and that Jessica just has a bunch of Instagram follows, and I don't know. We'll see. I that one is one where I'm curious to see how it plays out. But that is it for this week. I realized that was very long. There was so many couples, so much to talk about. We will be back next week. But in the meantime, here is our Traitors recap. All right. It is now time for us to recap the Traitors. I'm going to start. I'm joined. Charlie's back.
I missed you guys.
Made his way back to the turret somehow.
You know, sometimes you leave a series and you come back. It's happened on previous seasons of the Traitors. I'm going to start with a question for you guys, because this episode, I wouldn't say anything shocking happened.
Yeah, no.
No really surprise eliminations, per se. But we did get a full episode of Rob's new Traitor alliance, Eric. So I want to start off by asking you, do you think Eric... There's two ways to look at this. Was it a good choice for Rob? And also, do you... let me do this way. Does Eric have a chance? Let's just start here.
I think he does. I think the big chance he has is that Rob genuinely seems to like him. And I think that determines some of Rob's decisions, because he could have easily kind of allowed Kristen to sort of take over. We'll get to that at the end. But I think he genuinely likes Eric, and I think he wants to see this thing through with him, which I think he liked. He wanted to do it with Candace too. I think he wanted to see it through with Candace, even though he didn't like her. But I think he would be fine sharing this with somebody else.
I don't think he's going to make it through. I think that his indecision, like, again, he didn't really act inconsistently to the way he had acted before, other than his magic years moment. But I think we're at the point in the game where it's like, you can't be a wallflower. But I am happy for us. I think one of the things works out for Rob, because even if Eric gets picked, at like, it will be on his own volition. It's not going to be Rob throwing him under the bus, which is a great strategy for adding a mid-season traitor. But also for us, more of the ITM interviews with Eric, the better, because he's hilarious, and we weren't getting enough of that. Just a couple of the quotes he had during that episode. I need a helmet and an adult diaper because my head's going to explode and I'm going to my pants. Rob is a soaring eagle with his arms behind his head and his crop top vest flying down on the couch. This guy's hilarious.
He's a good narrator. And I think what you see is what you get. Like, I genuinely believe him when he says he's discombobulated and he doesn't know how to act. Yeah. I think it's correct that Rob likes him. And I think, obviously, Rob's going to turn on him at some point. It's the name of the game. But I don't think he has any plans to... Maybe he won't have to, actually. I don't know. It depends how things shake out. But, like, at the moment, I think Rob... There's plenty of other guys for Rob to kick out before it turns to Eric. Yeah, like, I don't know. We'll see. Eric doesn't seem super popular with the Traitors fan base right now.
Oh, huh.
I think just because they think he's not good at the game.
Yeah, okay.
He's not.
And he can't read handwriting or hear laughter or decipher laughter. Is that part of it?
I don't want to jump ahead too much, but how much do you think the producers during the mission, which we'll get to, there was a hearing component of it, of trying to hear people get out of boxes? Do you think they're like, all right, Mr. Magic Ears, how are you going to play this one?
This is the thing, is I feel like what really would have thrown everybody off the scent is people was like, I heard distinct footprints and they were Timberland boots. Listen, I could hear it. My ears are perfect. I know exactly who it was. And he just went all in on somebody. whether he was wrong or not, just went all in because his ears don't lie.
I don't feel like either Rob or Eric were particularly strategic in this episode. We'll get to, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Because with that challenge, I was waiting for one of them to, they went with the chaos vote with Kara. Well, anyways, we're getting way ahead. But
sorry, that was on me. Hand up.
No, it's okay. Their first decision to make together is their first kill. Rob. Okay, so here's the other thing I'll say about Rob. You know, we've been very high on him, right? And thus far, he appears to be coasting towards a win. But he's feeling himself.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what struck me in this episode. Like, I think and I do wonder if maybe that's the dynamic of having Eric there. I think with like Candace and Lisa, he was like a little more like, I'm just a sweet country boy. And when he speaks to Eric, he makes it very clear he's the alpha. He's not like rude to him or demeaning, but he's just like a lot of you talked about Eric's lines. Rob had a lot of lines in this episode. They made him think he's got this thing in the bag. There's a funny moment when he takes him up to the turret. He says, Eric goes, "We're killing someone tonight?" And Rob says, "Yeah, it's kind of our job." Great. Yeah. Okay. So Rob points out in the turret they only have 3 round tables left. Timeline there. He says he thinks Johnny's going to be out on his own. So their options for the kill are Natalie, Dorinda, and Steven. So I want to ask you guys, who would you have killed? Those are the options that they settle on. And maybe you can pick someone other than that. Do you think those were like good choices? Like Kristen, we know has a shield. I think she would have been a good choice. So do you think, David, let's start with you, that they made the right choice? Like, what would you have done?
I think it's dangerous to keep Natalie hanging around. Yeah. Like, to be honest, I think that even if it's risky or if you feel like it's going to lead you somewhere, I'm willing to take that risk than to have Natalie just hanging around, surviving. Like, she survived as close to an elimination as you could get and was kind of just saved by the fact that like the other person was actually a traitor who was eliminated. But I mean, Natalie is not somebody I want anywhere near me for the duration.
I would have killed Natalie too. And it's not, again, like I know she's very much in Rob's pocket currently and trusts him implicitly, but she does not care about anyone in the game but herself. Yes. Straight up, like we know this from seasons of reality TV. Yeah. She is a true mercenary, and if she has a hint of Eric or Rob, she will flip all allegiances and knock them out of the game.
The one thing I'll say about Dorinda, it took me a second, is they're never going to think she's a traitor because they already had 2 housewives traitors, right? That would be my logic. So Natalie is, people have named her. It's likely that I can see Rob and Eric thinking, okay, they might banish her or we can cast suspicions on her. It would have been, and at this point, you're really trying to get, I feel like, and maybe Charlie, you can tell me if I'm wrong, you want to get rid of anyone who seems like a pure faithful in some ways because they're never going to draw attention.
You want some sauce on everyone.
Yeah. But Dorinda was never going to get a vote at the round table. Right? So that part of it made a little bit of sense to me.
Yeah, but I feel like she's not threatening at all. I just didn't see that there was anything that she was doing that was going to like mess with me.
But isn't it at this point like about like it's not like
threatening?
It's just like she's not like you really want to be able to push blame onto other people. And when you look at everybody less, like Johnny's a target, Mark's a target, Steven's a target, Natalie's a target. Dorinda ain't never going to be a target. So I think that part of it made a little sense to me.
Counterpoint though, if they, it was brought up in the turret that Dorinda really liked Rob. And if you carry her to the end, it was sort of like season 2, MJ was carried to the end and she had no idea anything in the game, and they just eliminated her to CT and Trishelle to split the pot. And it's like, if you have a useful idiot who will never vote correctly, keep them in the game. Like she was voting for more last week. Yeah. Like he's just not even close.
That's fair.
So with that said, I mean, with the just because that's an interesting thing about Dorinda, nobody thinking that she would be a traitor. A traitor. Should Rob have picked her as the traitor?
No, because I think she would just get away with it completely. Like if you pick her as a traitor, she's never going to get banished. and you can't kill her at any point. So you're basically locking her in to the finale, I believe. Whereas Eric, at some point, if he wants to turn on him, he can make it work. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so the breakfast the next morning, we start to get like everybody's moved on to Johnny, right? Mark mentions that to Kristen. Rob says he's on Johnny. Candace, I guess, had suggested Johnny get a shield, so they remembered that. Johnny, the next morning, says he feels dumb, invulnerable because he was such good friends with Candace. Maura brings up, interestingly enough, that Candace had singled out Rob, but I don't think she brings it up in a super suspicious way. But when Rob, I think every time Maura does it, I've noticed Rob's a little bit like, ooh, like surprised. Right, I think he was a little bit like rattled when she did that. And he was like, well, you know, she was probably doing it to help the other traitors who were left. And Maura kind of got a little glint in her eye. That's all I'll say. Everybody thinks Maura is just being like carried by Rob. Just something I took note of. Anyways, it's revealed that Dorinda is dead, or as Alan, in a glittering blue kind of wallpaper fabric suit with a blue streak in his hair, says, Dorinda, the traitors did rescind ya. So before the mission, this is an episode where the mission actually deserves a lot of time to talk about. Before the mission, more people on Johnny. And we get Eric talking about Rob being an eagle soaring across the sky. But there's Steven starts to trickle up. Tara tells Kristen she thinks it was Steven. Kristen, okay, I do want to take a bit here, tells Tara she thinks it's her.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. Everybody keeps saying Kristen's so smart, Kristen's so strategic. Guys, there's like, in what universe could you be in that castle and believe that Tara Lipinski is a traitor?
Mina, beyond that, after that conversation, the look on Tara's face of just like utter confusion was the dead giveaway that she was a faithful. Dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway.
Yeah, Kristen has been posting about. She's posted about this because she's like people have been like, why do you keep thinking that she's smart? And she's just kind of like,
I don't know, man. I guess you could.
It's the fits. It's the outfits. She's just like carries herself, but she knows what she's doing. So.
Well, she's like a real. She's like an actually accomplished person. She speaks when she talks. She does sound calm and logical and rational, but like her conclusions have not been good the entire show. So, anyways, I just wanted to point that one out because that was weird to me. The other thing that I think happens is Johnny and Tara really are like, all right, we just got to be in this together no matter what. Johnny says Tara and him didn't have normal childhoods. We didn't play games growing up. We were training for the Olympics. Okay, I think their whole alliance comes to a head at the round table, or their friendship becomes like a pretty key plot point. I do want to ask you guys about what you thought about this, because when they came into the show, they were like, we're going to pretend we're not friends. It's like, guys, everybody knows you're like attached at the hip. Yeah. I will say, watching the Olympics on like the figure skating has been such a profound reminder that they are unbelievably good at their jobs and like truly like Johnny Weir, like we're literally the top figure skaters in the world, and I'll be watching the Olympics and I'm like figure skating, and I posted this somewhere, but for me it's like when you watch like baseball and the pitcher, like a pitcher is the analyst, and he'll be like, that was like a curveball with a 90-degree rotation. I'm like, how are you seeing that thing? That's how I feel watching them talk about these figure skaters. Johnny will be like, ooh, he hit a 3.5 Lutz instead of 4. I'm like, well, how did you count that? Okay, sorry, that was my aside. David, what do you think about like their friendship and just generally, because it is a big element to this episode.
Right. I want to talk about that too, because them on Peacock reminds me of Colton being like, so Johnny, this is how sports works. I'm going to use a sports analogy to explain to you because I'm an athlete. And I'm like, this dude is a world-renowned dude. Like, you can't talk to him. He can't. Anyway, I forgot the question. Their friendship. Yeah.
Oh, just like their friendship. I mean,
I was surprised that it became such a topic. And, like, people, there were a couple people who seemed genuinely surprised. Like, they were, and even after the round table, they were like, now it's out. Now it's out that we're best friends. And I'm like, why? How was this not even the thing everybody assumed to begin with? I don't understand. Like, they should have been in the house, like as housewives, in that same sort of consideration the whole time.
By the way, to be clear, they never didn't act like best friends. They were a voting block. They had an alliance the entire.
She's like
I guess the only
half the time.
Yeah, I was about to say this is after the reveal. I guess she like crawled into his lap slightly more aggressively for a post roundtable snuggle. But like that was pretty much it.
Like,
what I'd ask about
we can stop hiding the secret now.
Do you think it was an overplay because the reveal? Rob afterwards was like, they up. They up. They let everyone know that they're together. But also, not to get too far ahead, it kind of worked. They came off as very genuine.
It worked once.
Yeah.
You're right. Let's revisit the friendship at the reveal because it is really how I think their friendship actually did save them, and it's why the round table ended up the way it was. We get to the mission. So Charlie, I want to get your knowledge here because you said they've done something similar to this before. So they all get in these boxes. First of all, Alan pulls up and Lala has her own little box, which is very cute. And they have to shut the boxes and the traitors have to sneak out and answer a question. And then the faithfuls all have to guess. Everybody has to guess what the answers are. It's like, who's the most manipulative? Who's going to win? Whatever. Okay. So this to me was a lot more interesting because unlike previous missions, which were just much more about athleticism, this is like game strategy, analyzing the answers, analyzing who guessed what, seeing how the traders approach this. Charlie, but you said they have done this kind of thing before.
Something similar. It's not exactly a one-to-one. They had sort of like a chess mission in the last season where it ended up being the demise of Carolyn because they're able to read the moves of the traders and who makes who the traders choose for each answer, and that can sort of be a dead giveaway if it's done improperly. And at that point, there was full on like if this mission had happened when Candace and Rob were the two traders, Candace would have been putting in answers to try and get Rob caught, which is what happened last season where Danielle essentially was able to trap Carolyn into revealing herself. So this is the point in the season where it's like, okay, there could be a voting block. If the traders get this, they get to the end. We need to give the faithfuls a piece of information based on how they play this, where they can get some information. So I actually thought it was smart that Rob was like, F this, we give them nothing. Even if even if it's not to our benefit, we can't give them a single piece of information to work off of from this entire mission. Also, in that, Rob said, I'm nimble like a cat. Meow.
He's going for the cuteness. He's going for virality and cuteness. He knows how this works. He's seen it.
David, when I was watching this, at first I was thinking like, okay, strategically, like, should they put themselves to try to throw people off their scent, or is that too obvious? Should they? But I think it was all happening so fast. Like they didn't have time to plan. They had no idea. That I agree with Charlie. Like ultimately, they're just like let's just throw this away. We don't need the money and choose chaos. Do you think that was the right approach as well?
I do, and it also brings me to like a little small gripe about traders as a whole. I don't think the money's working. Like I don't think that the money is incentivizing them to do anything. Like there's no because I mean when you're saying you could have won $14,000. Like, come on. Like, what is that to these people? They are going to always throw the money away and go for the win or go for the strategic thing. It's like the slam dunk contest. Like, it's not, I don't know. It's like you got to find a way to incentivize them beyond the money that they're using.
I don't know if you've ever seen the show Too Hot to Handle, the Netflix show.
Yeah.
If they have sex, they lose like $10,000 or whatever, and the actual prize is not that much. And like for these people, the currency of staying on TV is so much more valuable than these relatively incremental amounts of money. Like $10,000 is not even $10,000. Like I don't know what the final price. What is the final?
What, 250? Is it?
I think the max.
That's probably how much Rob gets paid
Yeah.
for a single Instagram post.
Right.
Right. Like, so, and the longer he's on TV, the more valuable that is. So like, I think that's a really good point. Like the money aspect, and they downplay it. Like you don't even see them talking about it or caring. They're like, oh man, like they don't really seem that disappointed when they don't.
Do you think we can name that the Harry Jowsey corollary, where he was like, I'm just going to continue to break the rules on Too Hot to Handle on every single show, and it'll extend my career, and I'll have a podcast with Alex Cooper.
I asked him about it at a Love Is Blind after party. I saw Harry Jowsey.
Exclusive. And I was like, viewer discretion exclusive.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot and ask the one question I have. And I was like, hey, first time, long time. When you guys were on Two Hat Tanda, did you ever just get around and be like, this isn't that much money? And he was like, not really. No one really talked about it. I was like, yeah, okay.
It's pretty much a yes. But even Too Hot to Handle, they had like a thing where it's just like, all right, you're like banging each other too much. We got to kick you out. Like there was even a backup thing beyond the money.
More stakes, yeah. Anyways, the shtick is they all pick Tara. Everybody realizes that. Then at the end, Johnny randomly won't vote for Tara. I don't know, breaking the pack, which was bizarre decision on his
free
choice.
Money.
Make people mad at you. Okay, cool. All right. So can you explain? Because at the end, question was, who did the traitors want to murder? And Rob says to Eric, don't pick either of us because that'll be too obvious. And they put down Kristen. But then all of a sudden we find out that the 4 players who are still locked in their boxes are vulnerable. I found this like chain of events to be kind of confusing. Charlie, did you understand like what was going on here?
So again, they're back to playing the hits. Like a couple seasons ago, they had like this coffin thing where the traitors, one of the traitors put themselves in a coffin, and there was basically like someone from, or no, they didn't, but it was like they ended up voting out all of those people because they're like, a traitor would put themselves up for murder. Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't properly explained because I feel like the traitors having to make that decision on the fly of who the 4 people eligible for murder were before banishment didn't totally make sense.
Yeah.
It was confusing. It was Johnny, Tara, Natalie, and Kristen.
Yeah. They had to do like some game theory just on the spot of like what will throw us off the most, knowing that they still get to make the decision on murder.
I wonder from a production standpoint, because Alan just explains there's no voiceover on this show. There's no like somebody, they don't do, they do very few cutaways with Alan.
Yeah.
I wonder if Alan only gives them so much of his time and they're like, people will figure it out on their own. I don't know. Anyway, so there's a little bit of time for the round table. Again, Steven and Johnny are the 2 names. We know it's going to be one of them. Natalie / Shanta Steven. She keeps talking about how Lisa gave him her coins. Rob says he was going to do Johnny, but he's thinking about jumping on the Steven bandwagon since Johnny's going to get eliminated at some point anyways, which strikes me as very smart strategy. And Tara and Johnny say, now we're going to team up. All right. Again, we all knew you're a team. So that brings us to the round table. So I do want to spend some time kind of focused on what happens here. So Alan walks up, quotes both William Wallace and Tennessee Williams in his intro, get you a host who can do both. And this is we should get to the Chair Johnny friendship part here because this is ultimately like the focal point of the round table. Johnny comes up, they all think it's Johnny. Tara says, I promise you, Johnny, I'm a faithful, Johnny is a faithful. Moore was like, well, how would you know Johnny is a faithful? And Tara stutters and cannot explain. Shocker. And then Johnny says, we've worked together for a decade. We're like very close friends. One of us would be able to tell. Mark says, well, in my sport, we work with partners and I wouldn't blindly trust someone, which I'm like, Mark, okay, you do Dancing with the Stars, bro. Like that's like not really comparable. I just want to throw that out there. Like these are best friends who like are like have been known each other for decades. Like whatever.
Glad you wouldn't trust Alex Earl from Dancing with her implicitly.
I'm like, what is there to not trust about Dancing with the Stars? Like, what is the betrayal aspect of Dancing with the Stars that happens? Am I just not understanding how Dancing with the Stars?
I think he's just saying like, you can't just trust someone in this game because you worked with them. But again, like it's just not comparable at all.
Right.
Okay, but before we move on and get to how people reacted, I want to ask you guys this. David, you can go first here. Would you have bought it? Say you were a faithful at the table. And 2 people, Johnny and Tara in this case, who are legitimately best friends, were like, we trust each other. She wouldn't lie to me. I wouldn't lie to her. Would you buy that?
Yeah, I think I would. I think I would buy it from them because the stuff that they were doing in the episode did not feel like anybody was being strategic or anything that they would do would work to that strategic end. So it just kind of didn't. I couldn't see how either of them would be doing traitorly things to get to this point, right? Like unless one of them was just being so like if Johnny was up there manipulating Tara to the point where he was putting her name in every one of those things and then hugging her, like that just feels kind of like another level of diabolical. And what we've known all season is every time they've tried to catch somebody up by like who was being like doing something stupid or slipping up, they've been wrong. Every time somebody like did something that was super illogical, it was wrong. And then them using the wrong names was super illogical. And that has not borne out for anybody yet. So that would have eliminated them for me.
I think this is the second time this season where people have stopped playing game, and it's shown like really obviously that they're faithfuls. It's like when Natalie freaked out about the vial, where these two people have not. I mean, I know Johnny's tried to politic and control this, but they have not been like flustered or like explaining themselves a single time over the course of the season, because we've sort of thought of them as like they're as like laughable idiots. But then to see them like totally flustered and act like it was similar to Natalie, like they were so obviously like, you guys are messing this up, I'm freaking out here, that it would have required really good acting for them to come off as to be traitors and come off as faithfuls in that moment.
I'm with you both. The way I view it is, and this is why I was so befuddled. I get Kristen still at the round table continues to mention Tara, which is just insane to me.
Voted for her. Like what?
She was like, well, I said I don't trust her, and then I was picked to be killed. That doesn't even make sense. Like, stop it. There's not that many people left, But I'm just sorry. There's just no world in which Tara Lipinski is acting like a traitor. And if you think that, you're insane. And to you guys' point, like Johnny, the way they were speaking so emotionally, if he had been lying to her, it would have been so insane and like sociopathic.
But how cool would that have been though if one of them was a traitor and lying to each other the whole time?
But I mean, it just would have been.
They wouldn't be doing those Peacock game play-by-play right now if that were the case.
Do you think that was a huge part of it, being like, we can't mess up the Olympics? Like we can't.
Maybe they're getting nice at it. I don't know. But he was like, we've been each other for like fertility issues. I'm like, these people aren't freaking lying, y'all. Like, come on. Like Charlie brought, like, it's like with the Natalie when she like broke like face. Like, I'm just like, there's just, these people are obviously not traitors. It's so obvious to me. I mean, and if it is, it would be one of the all-time acting performances I've seen on reality television.
I will say at the beginning when Johnny was like, I may be on the cutting block, Tara was like, I'm jumping in. I got your back. I was like, this episode is going to be the closest she gets to eliminated the whole time, because she's trying to take initiative. It is going to go so poorly for her, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah. Sorry, Tara.
Yeah, we'll get to the math in a second, but they do buy it. The problem is they still, no one has zero awareness of Rob. I actually get why they picked Steven. There was like a few pieces of evidence, like Candace, I guess they saw talking to him after she had been attacked, the money thing. Nothing great, but we know it's a guy.
Lisa with the pouring the stuff in his thing was huge. Yeah.
So the way the vote breaks down is the only Johnny voters are Steven and Maura, interestingly enough, who's been starting to break a little bit with Rob, I feel like. We'll see. And then Kristen, again, and Mark, they seem to be an alliance, and they vote for Tara, which is just...
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You can't, they're all like, you can't be posting about how strategic you are on social media with me seeing you vote for Tara Lipinski, whatever. Steven reveals it's him. He blew it.
There's one, we need to, I guess this is part of the aftermath, but I thought the most important part of this entire round table, I guess, was when Alan asked if the person with the dagger wanted to
I
use
forgot.
It.
No,
yeah.
And Natalie, whispers to Rob, you have it. I'm the only one from the dagger crew.
Tell them.
Natalie's...
She's got to go. She's
a
liability. She's a mercenary. She doesn't give anything about Rob. And Rob played it off cool, being like, it's basically your idea initially, Mina, of using it like a cudgel as an intimidation factor for the rest of the people.
Yeah, I think he's right. I do think it's
kind of, except for if people next week are like, hey, this is going to be our only chance to get out Rob numbers-wise. We have to do it now. Like, she sort of threw him under the bus with half the people who wouldn't have been able to align against him. I thought that was crazy, considering they're supposed to be allies.
He was just kind of feeling himself from that. I think he just feels untouchable. That's why he wasn't bothered by it. And I think with a crew of folks who are a little bit, to me, I would be voting Natalie out immediately. Like, if either from both sides. If I were Rob and Eric, I'd be voting her out. And if I were at the round table, I'd want her out of there also, because she is dangerous to everybody except for herself. We saw her even with the vial, taking the vial. Like, she just is, when it's panic time, she is going to set everything on fire to try to win.
So before we get to the final, their decision in the turret, there is something very important that happens. Well, so, yeah, right. Rob said Tara and Johnny revealing their besties for the resties was so dumb. Right. Good line. Natalie apologizes to Rob and Eric, who are kind of like, leave it. And so the important thing that happens is Kristen says to Eric in front of a couple people, Rob and Mark,
including Rob.
Including Rob. Yeah. You didn't have anything to say. That was really weird. He was like, oh, I was just so lost. And then he's like, Kristen's so scary right now, right? And she tells Rob and Mark she doesn't trust Eric. And she says, if I'm murdered, look at Eric. So for the first time, Kristen actually does pick a traitor.
Yeah.
And I think saves herself in the process, right? Because the final, they have to choose between Tara, Johnny, Natalie, and Kristen. And in my mind, guys, it would have been Natalie or Kristen because they know Johnny's going to get out anyways. Yeah. But this to me, well, maybe I'm surprised, but I feel like that Kristen making that accusation in public at the last second probably sealed Natalie's fate. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think so. I mean, there was again, I'm not a historian of the show. At this point, when things are sort of like thinning out, there may be just the thing of just like get the person who's just kind of like closest to it out of the way. Because Kristen just seems like she may be riding Eric for a little bit. But I think Natalie, to me, is just the most obvious with the blade and all that stuff. Like, I just think she's the most obvious.
I would be doing anything in my power to get rid of Natalie and Kristen.
Yeah.
If I was the traitor.
But you can't do Kristen right now, right?
I mean,
because of what she said about Eric.
Said, the only yes, except for the only way that when she said, like, if I get eliminated, it's on Eric is like, maybe enough subterfuge to be like, this is an all-time setup, but then they would look at it, then the heat would go on to Mark and Rob, and Rob's part of that group where he was said that too, so he's one of the only people who know that. So yeah, they can't do Kristen. They have to vote out Kristen at the next round table. Like, they have to, at this point, it's just getting rid of anyone who you think is smart enough to be a threat.
All right, well, speaking of that, let's all pick our 5 to survive. Ooh, I should have branded that 5 to survive. It's hard because you have to. This is the hardest vote we've had to do all season long, right? For obvious reasons. I'll go first.
Go for it.
Okay, all right.
Rob.
Yes.
Maura.
Mm-hmm.
Mark. Tara. Final pick was the hardest. I'm putting Kristen here.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. Charlie.
I have the exact same list as you, except for flipping Kristen and Eric. So it's Mark, Rob, Eric, Tara, and Maura. For one more week. I think Magic Ears makes it.
Me and Charlie have the same. Me and Charlie got the same list. Rob, Eric, Tara, Mark, Maura. I mean, I think, it's really down to the traitor and the person who thinks that who has the traitor nailed right now. It's one of those are gonna be gone. And yeah, I'm not sure.
All right. Well, only a few more episodes left. See you guys next week.